Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. Today I want to show you some of my favorite Google Earth strangeness. And I'm talking about things that have been witnessed on the Google Earth software and mapping system, which you can go to online, showing some very enigmatic and unexplainable things, some of which you may have never seen before. But it just goes to show that there are things being captured by these satellites and by these mapping vehicles that are driving and traversing the United States, and we're going to show you some of our favorites today. Now, first I want to start off with this new find that was captured in Los Angeles, found on Google Earth. I will put the coordinates down in the video description. And we see this very strange object hovering over the skies. And as you're seeing here, it has a very sort of circular oval shape to it. Now, as we go down the street and change positions, the object is still there. It does not leave. So I think we can rule out a balloon here, because one thing I've noticed about this is that this thing, if it were a balloon, because this thing almost looks like, well, if it was balloon shaped, this thing is sitting on its side the entire time. It is not sitting upwards as a balloon does. And as we go up and down the street, this thing just seems to sit there. Again, something that balloons just don't do, especially when you release a balloon into the air. And I know many of you probably have when you were kids. When you release a balloon, they fly up at a very fast rate of speed, especially when you first release them at ground level. And they fly up and they are gone within a matter of seconds. This object sits there. It does not twist, turn, or rotate. So now we're going to show you some of our favorite anomalous things found on Google Earth. And there is no shortage of strangeness on Google Earth in these images. And we're talking about structures, we're talking about UFOs, craft, objects, things in the clouds, things under the ocean, things found over the poles. Here we have some disc-shaped objects. Now, these are one of the most well-known seen UFOs across the world. And they've been documented for thousands of years. They've even been depicted in ancient paintings from well before the topic of ufology was even a glimmer of what it is today. And you're seeing some of those images here. Here's one. We have one flying over top of the treetops. Here we have another one captured flying over this mountainous area. And this is one of my favorites, because as we zoom in on this, you get to really see how perfect and metallic and shiny this saucer is. This is not a bird. This is not a balloon. This is a saucer. I mean, you look at this. This is the close-up version of this thing, and it is an exact copy of what has been seen and spoken about, the crash at Roswell, the back-engineered craft that Bob Lazar worked on. I mean, this is a spitting image of these saucers that have been seen on and off our planet, and it's just an amazing capture. So moving on, here we have another saucer-shaped object, this time captured over Area 51. And we have found some very strange shit over Area 51. And of course, it's no surprise, because this is one of the government's favorite places that they love to test things coming out of their Pandora's box. And we have another shiny saucer-shaped object sitting here in the middle of the desert. And speaking of strange things in the desert, I'm sure you guys remember these very strange structural formations that were captured over Cairo, Egypt. And the jury is still out on what these things are. Some of them think they are military installations, weapon bunkers. I mean, you can see there's actually entranceways on these structures that look to lead underground. And they have these massive openings. Another image captured over Area 51 shows this cigar or cylinder-shaped object hovering over the desert, and is obviously high above the ground, because we see the long shadow separated from the object down below on the surface. You can see the sunlight hitting this object from the right. The left side of this cigar-shaped thing is in shadow, and of course we see this massive shadow on the ground far away from the object. This thing is definitely high above the ground. And once again, we have another very strange triangular formation over and in the middle of the desert. And I have no idea what this thing is. So maybe you guys can help us out with that. But it has a weird triangular shape. We see these smaller yellow objects that look to be possibly glowing or just colored yellow. And these remind me kind of like these landing pads that can only really be seen from space. And there's been some theories that this is a landing pad used by TR-3B style craft when they are finally coming back down to land. So you be the judge on that. Now here's an oldie but goodie. A very mysterious image captured over Italy a while back. And I have no idea what this thing is. I think after all these years, there's still not a clear reasoning or indication of what this is. It looks like a massive cylinder of smoke and ash, but then it has this very strange arm that comes up and curves back down. It's just extremely frigging anomalous. I mean, look at this thing. What is that? I mean, what natural explanation is there for this? And I really wish I was over in Italy that day when this thing was taken. Here we have another Google Earth image of something in the sky once again, and it has a very strange structure to it. We can see it's yellow, it has some black on it, it looks like, I don't know what. A ship of some sort, a drone. You be the judge, I have no idea. Now, again, one of our favorite here is what has become known as the flying car. And it's pretty self-explanatory. You see what looks like a car, and it's floating. Seems to be floating. The shadow is well below it. It's not connected to the car. You can see the other cars in the parking lot across the street. And, yeah, I don't know. Could this be Doc Brown and his DeLorean? I have no idea. But I can dream, and it would be awesome if that was the case. Now, moving on to some other things that look to be hovering high above the ground. Another Area 51 image. And once again, we see another disc-shaped object sitting high above the desert, this large circular shadow on the desert below. And here we have another saucer-shaped object blending in the trees somewhere in the rural United States. Now, I don't know if this is a house or what, but it definitely has the saucer shape to it. It even has the little portholes wrapping around it. And it's also very strange that it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. So, yeah, very strange. Now, I'm sure you guys remember this, where it looks like military were surrounding a crashed object in Antarctica. And a lot of videos were made about this. I don't even still know the whole story, but I do know what the images tell me. And you can see these 4 tanks lined up here. And we see this other object sitting in front of these tanks that looks to have skid across the snow, come to a stop, and then we have these tanks showing up, and it's all very strange. I mean, you take a look at the images yourself, and tell me that that doesn't look like a perfect crash site, complete with military movement, and what have you. So very, very interesting. Here's an image that was captured in space. One of my favorites of this large blue disc. Massive, as I like to say. Captured up in space. Some very enigmatic things have been caught in space via Google Earth, and I'm going to be posting a future video focusing solely on these odd space anomalies, so definitely look out for that soon. But again, this is just one of my favorites. Very strange indeed. Now, some of the next images aren't so much about UFOs or what's seen in the sky, as it is about just strange things on Google Earth and some things that are being censored for one reason or another. Such as this imagery here, where they have blacked out an object at the top of a mountain. And you can see here this big dark area that they've blacked out, and it doesn't matter what angle you look at this at, it is blacked out from all angles. So whatever is at the top of this snowy mountain, it's obvious that they don't want us to see it, whatever it is that's there. Now, speaking of mountains, this is a very enigmatic image showing what looks like a saucer-shaped opening in the side of a mountain, complete with what looks like a big black door or entranceway, as you're seeing in this image here. And as we zoom in, you can see this hole, and then you can see this massive black, it almost looks like a turtle shell top, sitting above this hole, sort of moved out of the way. And it looks like the only thing that can move in and out of this mountain is this very well-defined saucer shape carved into the side. So it's very strange. Could this be an entrance to some sort of saucer-shaped craft being utilized by the government, or something possibly more off-world? We've also captured some very strange things over the ocean. Here is one here of one of these saucer-shaped objects sitting in the middle of the ocean. I don't know if it's some sort of installation put there for one reason or another, but again, some of these things are in the middle of nowhere, especially when it comes to the ocean images. So it really makes you wonder, if it is one of ours, why would they put it out there in the middle of nowhere? Here's another image taken in the Arctic. We actually did a video on of this large creature that is coming out of the water. We don't know what this is. We measured it in Google Earth, and we found it to be larger than any whale out there. This thing is massive. Some have said it's a whale fighting with a giant squid, but I think the jury's still out, and it's just a very eerie image of this thing splashing around in the water, coming up for a few moments, and you can actually see what looks to be like some glowing underneath the water. So there's a lot of strange things on Google Earth. Here is a swastika-shaped building. I believe in San Francisco or San Diego, and kind of makes you wonder what the construction foreman was thinking. And there's just a lot of weird stuff on Google Earth. Yeah, I don't know what is he doing there? Sticking his head? I don't know. On to some other UFO imagery. Well, that's not a UFO either. Looks like we have some ninjas, or just some very bored middle-aged men having a sword fight here. Alright, I know I've got some more UFO videos somewhere here. Oh, that's not one either. Is that you, Dad? Anyway, moving on. Now this has got to be... Nope. Damn it. Is that a blow-up doll? And here we... Oh, well, nope, that's not one either. Oh, boy. Okay, so yeah, I guess that's the end of the video here. I guess that's all the images I've got to show you guys. So, yeah, very strange things on Google Earth. Let me know what you guys think. If you have your own finds, be sure to email me with them, and we'll get them out there. So, thanks for watching. We'll have another video up very soon, and we'll see you back soon with much, much more. Stay safe, guys.